can't select all fans.
Yeah, which is the way you can select
Well,
all.
yeah. Welcome everybody.
Hi. Chime in on us. We have a hot topic for you tonight. We're talking about tragedy in DC, coping with loss, and building resilience. So join us. Uh, we'd love to have you um, on our podcast today. So just chime in and and let's talk about it. There's a lot going on in the world today. This is one of the sad events that's happening right now. So we want to talk about it and see how you guys are feeling about it, this particular topic, and see if you have been affected by some type of loss similar to this, or just the loss of a loved one. Um,
All right. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Thank you again for joining us for
thank
another
you.
episode
Yes,
of J and
thank
B Live
you.
Podcast. I'm Broker J3 alongside Doc B. As Doc B said today, our topic today is going to be dealing with current events that's going on right now. As a lot of you guys know, there was a tragedy in DC.
Yes.
With American Airlines carrying 64 individuals, and it collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter near the Potomac River in D.C. Sadly, there was no survivors.
Mm.
And they also said among the victims, there was also two well-known figure skaters that was just returning from National Development Camp. These type of tragedies, they really shake us up to the core. It's unexpected, it's devastating, and it reminds us just how fragile life is. So tonight we want to do more than just acknowledge what happened. We want to offer our heartfelt prayers to the families
Yes,
affected,
yes, we do.
reflect on how we process grief, and even open up the floor to you guys, our subscribers, our listeners, our followers, to share your own experiences with tragedy and how you've coped with it.
Okay, Zach Soros, thank you for joining us. Agnes, thank you for joining us. Dros, thank you for joining us as well. Um, Tragedy has a way of forcing us to stop and just reflect on what has happened. It's painful and it's unsettling. And for many, it can be overwhelming. Whether we personally know someone that's been affected or not, events like this causes us to just stop and think about the losses that we've endured, loved ones that we've lost, accidents that we've witnessed, or personal hardships we've overcome. And so tonight, we're just going to reflect on what happened in DC. We want to hear from you, our audience. We need to hear from our listeners. Have you faced a major tragedy in your life? How did you get through it? Your stories can offer hope and healing to others who might be struggling right now. So as you listen, drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you're watching live, we love to read your messages and bring some of your experiences into the conversation. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Catapina, Lavinia, Bonita, thank you guys for joining in. Thank you for your support.
Batty Kiki, appreciate you joining us. Thank you. We appreciate you guys. Dot B, that's a great question. Sometimes when tragedy strikes, our brain goes into survival
Yes, it
mode.
does.
It's like that part of the brain that we're responsible for processing emotions,
Yes,
fears, distress, and it goes into overdrive.
yes. Okay, so this can lead to shock, anxiety, sadness, or even guilt. People often experience what's called survivor guilt. If someone has survived, or they would say, well, why me? Or if someone was supposed to catch that flight and they didn't catch that flight, they start questioning, why did this happen? Because something have been done differently. Why them and not me? Others may feel completely numb and detached, like they can't process what just happened. And for those of you who have been through a trauma before, I've been through one major trauma before. A tragedy like this can reignite past pain. That's why it's so important that you talk about it, you process what happened, and you find ways to cope.
Again, welcome to some of the new people that's joining. the live this evening. Wifey, Miss Stallion, appreciate you joining. Thank you so much. Um, right now, I want to bring this to you guys. We asked earlier, have you ever experienced a personal tragedy? And how did you cope? Do any of you guys have any experiences where you guys may have dealt with a tragedy personally that you like to share it with us this evening? It's a lot of people that are hurting right now, the family members and friends of the ones that was lost in DC. So, how did you guys cope with something that you may have had a loss, a tragic loss, whether it was a car accident or
Yes.
whatever the case may be, we'll be glad if you guys, you shared that with us. We really like to hear if you guys would like to share that.
Yeah. And one thing about tragedy, it does not discriminate. It's going to touch you at some point in your life. But if you share those stories, maybe you can share it with someone else. If you share it with us, we'll share it as well, or you can share it on this in the comment section. Maybe that can help someone else, and they would know how to. We'll remind them that they are not alone in their grief.
And guys, remember, our podcast is interactive. So remember, you guys, tap the screen, let us know that you're
Yes, yes.
there. Send us the heart, send us the roses, let us know that you care. Also share the live, let people know that it's going on right now. Our hearts go out to the ones in DC. We can't say it enough right now. A nation is grieving, because of these people that are lost, because everybody can relate to a tragic loss or a loss that they have experienced.
Hmm.
So let's talk about coping strategies.
Yes.
What are some healthy ways people can navigate through the loss? Dot B, I'm quite sure you're more versed in this area. So why don't you give us some great points that may be able to help some of the people out there to be able to cope when they're dealing with situations like this?
Okay, and I can speak as a life coach on this particular one, and I can speak on this personally. There's not a one size fits all approach for healing. Everybody may need to heal in a different way. But the first thing you want to do is you want to talk about it. You don't want to keep everything bottled up inside. Whether you discuss it with a family, a friend, or a therapist, or you can come to a community like this one, and you can talk about your pain. And that starts the process of healing. Holding it in only makes it worse.
Exactly.
And so, number two, acknowledge your feelings. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel sad, to feel anger, to be confused. Don't push these emotions aside. They are what you are feeling. You need to deal with those emotions. And it's okay to feel any of those types of feelings. The third thing you want to do is seek professional help. Support groups, there are religious groups, there are spiritual groups that you can find maybe within your church organization. And also, there are online communities that can offer comfort. So, you want to get involved and get the support or the professional help that you need. You want to lean on your community, your support groups, your religious and spiritual groups. You want to lean on those for the comfort. And then the fifth one is to find meaningful ways to remember your lost loved one. Some people create memorials. Some people start charities or even dedicate a special day to honor those that they've lost. That's very important. That's a way of you giving back and you remembering the person or persons you lost.
Those are some great points, Dr. B. And let us not forget, self-care is very important too. People often neglect themselves when dealing with a loss. Simple things like eating, exercising, and even getting enough rest help more than we can realize. So when you're dealing with something like this, definitely pay attention to your own self because it's very important.
Mhm. Yeah. And another thing, your faith and your mindset, both of those can play a role in make a huge difference on how you move forward. For many, faith is a source of strength during hard times. Others find strength in the positive mindset. That's always thinking positive, removing those negative thoughts. A lot of times, that negative energy just causes you to feel worse than you already feel. So you want to find strength in positive mindsets, affirmations, or spiritual practices. Now, Broker J3, what do you think about the role of faith in healing?
Well, man, faith is everything to me.
Yes,
Most people
yes.
that know me, I grew up in the church, so that's just a part of my life. Whether you're religious or not, whether you believe in something greater than yourself, whether that's God, the universe, a higher power, the love connection,
Yeah.
can help you find meaning even in the darkest moments. For me personally, prayer has
Yes.
always been a way to find peace in chaos. Even as a child, I always remember my mom told me, no matter what's going on, no matter how hard things get, pray. Some people may not believe this, but I can say from my own personal experience, prayer works.
It does,
It
yes.
really does work. And I know for a fact that faith has helped countless people push
Yes.
through unimaginable losses.
Yes, it has. All right. Thank you, Karen Adams, for joining us. Lisa Laura, thank you guys for joining us. Are we going to continue this discussion? Tonight's conversation has been heavy but necessary. Tragedy will always be a part of our lives, but we don't have to face it alone. I want to tell of a personal tragedy that I experienced. My oldest son was involved in a terrible car accident. He couldn't have been no more than 18, and he went off an embankment. And we did not know if he was going to live or die. And that was one of the most emotional times of my life because he ended up being in the hospital for about 2 months. And it was just, oh my God, it was a tragedy. And every time I think of people losing lives, especially losing their children, this always hits home for me because I think about the fact that I could have lost my son. And I think about it, and my faith keeps me grounded because, you have to say it wasn't his time. That's what I think about all the time. But I know you guys have experienced some tragedy in your lives. And if you haven't, you just wait. It's bound to happen to all of us at some point in time.
Exactly. It really is. And speaking about, the things that happen, I know a lot of you guys out there, watching the news and paying attention. And, as I said before, America has really been, one of the how can I say, spared from airline tragedy that's been happening all over the world. So that's why this hits home so much because we usually don't see these type of things happen. It's like so many years apart where something like this happens, and it happens so close to the airport. It could have been much major than
Yes,
what
it
it
could
was.
have.
That plane could have crashed into the airport, causing all kinds of damage. So, we have to really, really thank that higher power, thank God, that it wasn't worse than what it was. And again, heartfelt prayers go out to the families that, that suffered through this,
Yes.
as Doc B said, I think about sometimes, where it was a few tragedies that happened, in my own personal life. And, it's not easy, dealing with a loss. It's no, it's not easy at all.
Okay.
Dealing with that. Sometimes you just have to, like Doc B said early. Sometimes you have to pray. You have to, find that someone that you can talk to
Yes.
help you get through it because sometimes it can take a major toll on you.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And be able to process what happened. And my heart goes out to the families as well. I think the last accident or major airline accident that happened in the United States was back in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. But it has been a while. And like you said, the United States has been spared and hadn't had that many major airline accidents.
Yes.
But this was something that happened, and I was watching it on CNN because I am a CNN advocate. I watch that station all the time, and they're still searching for the body. So can you imagine being one of the persons waiting to say for someone to tell them that they found the body of their loved one? That's a lot. That's a lot for a person to deal with. And for sure that person may need some type of counseling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they was interviewing a young man. He was showing his text stream from
Yes.
his girlfriend, and she sent him a message and saying that they was about 20 minutes early on the flight. So I guess the flight was coming in 20 minutes earlier than expected. And then he said he had sent her a message and it didn't go through, and he knew something was wrong. And think about that for a moment. You have a loved one, mother,
Mm.
father, son, daughter, grandchild, or close friend, or someone that was on that plane. Now, as
Mhm.
Doc B said a few minutes ago, can you imagine what those people are going through, knowing that they're dealing with those very frigid waters, trying
Mhm.
to find those people? It's really sad and it's heartfelt because unless you actually been through something like that, it's hard to be able to say, I know what you're going through, because those people are grieving right now, hoping to find something. And it was amazing because it touched me when that young man was saying he's hoping that
Mhm.
they find her and she's all right, before they was confirming that everyone was dead
Mhm.
or unalived. So it's heartfelt,
Yeah.
and like I said, tragedy is always difficult, for everybody out there. So we're not going to really harp on it really heavy
Yeah. Yeah.
tonight,
Mhm.
because we know
Mhm.
a lot of people are grieving. We
Mhm.
just wanted to really get on here tonight to let it everyone know that our heartfelt prayers go out to the families and friends of anyone that could have suffered a loss.
Mhm.
um you know what you think, Doc B?
I just want to add that we want to pray for the families. Please include those families in your prayers tonight, that they're able to be able to grasp at what just happened and be able to move on. So, but thanks to all of you who chimed in and shared your stories and engaged with us. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I can't speak it. I can't say it enough. Agoda Studio. We got Ma Alice. We got Alonzo. I'm looking at several different platforms, but Audrey Collins, thank you guys for joining in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If there's one takeaway from tonight, let it be that grief is a journey. Healing takes time, but together we can do anything. We can do anything through the power of prayer.
That's right, Doc B. And before we go, don't forget, guys, make sure that you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And for some of you guys out there that are more audible than visual, you can check us out on the podcast channels through iHeart, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and most major podcast platforms. So
Yes.
just search for Live with J&B or J&B Live, and you can check out previous episodes or
Mm-hmm.
upcoming episodes. Go ahead and put that reminder on that and notification so you know when a new episode is available. We got more powerful conversations coming, so we want you guys to stay connected. And again, a lot of people are grieving right now, and we just want to just thank you guys for joining us for today's podcast. We know it's short today because just dealing with the subject today. A lot of people are being really affected, and we just wanted to chime in on
Time,
that.
So take care of yourselves. Check on your loved ones. It's okay to do a wellness check. And we'll see you next time on JMB Live. Let's
All
talk
right.
about it.
All
Thank
right, guys.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. And until next time, take care.